So all is not well in Philadelphia as they're concerned about their Eagles. The offense hasn't looked all that good, even when they were 4-0. Now they're 4-1. Is it a real problem? We're going to get into it. Reminder though to subscribe, like, and share so that you don't miss any of our football content. Join us at LandryFootball.com as well. Heading into the matchup against Denver, they were 21st offensively in success rate, 18th in expected points added per play, 27th in explosive play rate. They've won games as they normally do by taking care of the ball, only one turnover, and relying on the strength of their defense and special teams. Their ability to create game-changing plays by blocking kicks isn't luck. They spend a lot of time doing it. But the offense needs to get better, or eventually things are going to swing the other way. For example, against Denver on Sunday. When you look at them playing from behind, when they have to play the drop-back game, the Eagles' success is staying on schedule or staying ahead of schedule. Positive yards on first and second downs, controlling things at the line of scrimmage, being able to run the football very effectively, getting the ball out quickly, forcing numbers into the box so that they can take advantage of one-on-one matchups. But listen, they don't have a good drop-back game. They've got a really good quarterback that plays in that system very well, but he's not a typical drop-back guy. Oh, he can drop back off of play action, again, when there are numbers in the box, and he can get one-on-one matchups. But being able to survey the field, run a 2-minute offense with the passing game, not his strength. Look, they're simply too talented on offense to be playing as poorly as they are. But when you have injuries on offense, on the offensive line like they've had, it opens up some wounds there. It exposes the fact that, okay, if you can control the running game, not very easy to do when they're healthy, but if you can force them into the passing game, they're not nearly as effective. Hey, that's just the way football is. That's the way every team is to some degree. They have strengths, they have weaknesses. Eagles' pass have been built their identity on a deadly 1-2 punch. Their first punch is their run game and their talented offensive line, and the threat of Jalen Hurts as a runner and Saquon Barkley creating explosive runs. The second punch is big plays from receiver A.J. Brown. If they're not dominating with the run game and forcing numbers into the box, they don't get the right protection or the right matchups in coverage to go to A.J. Brown. If defenses put a safety in the box and cover Brown one-on-one, he can burn them all day. There have been times when they're content not going to Brown, but they're at their best when he's involved. I think he's the most explosive player on their team, with the exception of Saquon Barkley. But he makes all the difference in the world, because if you don't get the ball to him, people will overplay the run. They will attack the run, and that's going to make them less effective. He beats you with some big plays, makes some explosive plays. He is the most important player to their offense, because if he can beat you deep, it opens up things for Saquon Barkley, Hurts, and everything. So Brown has had one good game against the Rams. The other three, he hasn't been really all that proficient. How do you defend the Eagles? In the past, when teams decided to tighten up and get an extra defender in the box, that's when the Eagles punished them with Brown on the outside. This season, the Eagles are seeing more zone coverage, and that is not something that Hurts is a good diagnosing. And throwing the ball up and let a guy go and making a play is different than being able to quickly diagnose where the holes are and where to get rid of the football. Hurts doesn't get the ball out on time. It's more of a matchup and let it go. Defense are playing zone on 75% of dropbacks, which is 10% higher than what they did last season. Specifically, they're playing too high zone more than they have been. The Buccaneers played a lot of man coverage in the first half, then switched to zone for the entire second half. Hurts connected with Brown only twice for 7 yards in the first half, but he completed 13 of 14 passes to other Eagles for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. In the second half, 0 for 8. Brown is a true X receiver, and he gets isolated in formations a lot. When teams play man, it's easy for Hurts to go to A.J. Brown, but against zone, Brown has to be part of the route concept in which Hurts has to get through multiple reads and anticipate openings. That's not his strength. Okay, that's what people, well, they're not getting the ball to A.J. Brown. They're not getting it to A.J. Brown because people are taking it away, playing more zone, and that has to come more in progression with route concepts, and that is going to be difficult because you've got to see it quickly and react to it. And, you know, the Eagles are going to other people because it's where it's easier for Hurts to pick it up. So Hurts is right now just checking the ball down against zone. He's averaging only 6.8 yards per attempt against zone, which is a career low. And if you look at it, that's the biggest issue. The weakened run game is affecting their passing game. One reason defenses have gotten away with playing more two-deep coverage is that Barkley and the Philly running game hadn't been nearly as productive last season when they were one of the best in the league. They lost right guard Mekhi Becton in free agency, and they've dealt with various injuries going back to training camp. Their efficiency numbers are similar. They aren't getting the explosive runs over 10 yards, than they did last year. The Eagles ranked 11th last season in explosive rush rate. This season they're ranked 24th, 6.1%, and they've only had one design rush of over 20 yards. So until they can threaten teams with the run game, they're going to get a high dose of two deep safeties, and it's going to be very difficult. Now, Kevin Patul, the offense coordinator, has gone away from the RPO game, which has been a staple of the offense since Hurts became the starting quarterback. There are a couple of schools of thoughts when it comes to blocking extra defenders in the box. The old school method is just to add more blockers to the box. A more modern approach is just to leave a defender unblocked and either have an option for the quarterback to keep the ball on the run or a pass. This season, the Eagles have tried to run the ball from under center more, which eliminates the use of the option. So you can see where some of the problems are starting to manifest itself in the Eagles' offense. Ineffectiveness in one area, the inability to attack when people have to overplay what is normally their strength that's not real effective, and somewhat schematically some things they might be missing on. You know, when they're in a pistol and running some zone read stuff, they're effective. But poor blocking and, added numbers in the box has not been a good formula for them. It's been a problem. So, look, they're 4-1. They're still a really good team. The thought of that they're going to get healthier, they've got to look at what they're doing, maybe putting some RPO stuff while they're trying to get healthy on the offensive line and trying to create a better matchup for them to have some success running. If you can't run it under center, then you've got to find a way to run the football. And when you find a way to run the football, then you can get the split safeties broken up and getting one of those safeties down in the box. Then you've got a chance to have some success in the passing game. So it is not a case of, well, let's just throw it to A.J. Brown. He tries to force it to A.J. Brown, it's going to be pick after pick after pick. Throwing it to A.J. Brown has to be when he's in man coverage, because in zone coverage, it's going to be very hard to get him through it. No reason to panic, but something to keep in mind when I'm looking at tape. I wanted to share with you. Reminder again to subscribe, like, and share. Let us know what you think on this podcast as well as others. Let us know. I appreciate you joining us. Check us out at LandryFootball.com for more details and information. Again, the quickest way to help us grow, let us know what you think and give us your feedback. Appreciate you joining us. Have a great one.